Good evening. If you know where that little reference is from, we're new best friends because it does have to do with a Christmas movie. I am here tonight with my buddies Justin and Romo from Pillar of Thriller, and we'll do a little bit of intro talking as I get going. But you know why we're here tonight. We're going to talk about some holiday horror movies because how else do we get through as Halloweeners these holidays? These holidays are very, very rough on a Halloweener. It causes limpness and sadness. And, there's not enough orange and purple to go around. So, what did we find? Christmas horror to get us through. And there's a lot of movies out there that I didn't know about. So, let's talk about them a little bit with horror experts of the hit show Pillar of Thriller. Bring them on. Justin and Romo.
Hey!
It has been some fucking time. I think the last time we actually talked, I was on your show.
You were. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for having us on your show now.
Of course. It's just really funny because I was trying to reflect on our show, the show that I was on, and I don't remember anything I said because I think I was pretty trashed.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what we encourage.
Yeah. We love that.
And that is true. So, just to give a little background about you two, I remember I was introduced to you by Haunt Junkies, Volante. Yep. And we went on, I believe you guys were just getting going on your podcast, on your show. And now you guys are interviewing David Howard Thornton and doing all kinds of fucking cool episodes. Again, the one with me, I haven't rewatched because, you guys kind of have like a lot of cool shit going on. So I get distracted.
I appreciate that.
Oh, and yeah. I really couldn't think of anyone better to do Christmas horror with because I was again scrolling and then I'm like, oh, look at the jammies. And then we matched and then we just made it happen. So tell everyone a little bit about yourselves.
So we're actually best friends, known each other since high school. And it was funny because we got our friendship started at this is going to sound so weird, but our real friendship really started at a camp. We were working as counselors, with these kids. And I don't know, we just started working out together. And then ever since then, we grew to know each other. And then we found that we both shared a love for horror and just movies in general. You know,
Justin being an actor and everything, I would always ask his opinion on stuff. And I want to know every detail there is about movies when I watch them. So being obsessed with horror and Justin being a huge lover of horror as well, we would always find ourselves at crawfish boils or whatever we were doing together in a group, whatever movie came out, we'd sit there and talk and we'd almost minorly debate what we thought this meant, what this actually meant, open each other's eyes to this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, like Justin said, we've been best friends and we just keep doing this at times. And we were we should start up a podcast, jokingly sometime. And we kind of kept joking about it. And I thank Justin for being the one that kind of pushed into the back of my back to get us going with it and helping. He sets up the production and everything. I'm just here to give my 2 cents. But really, that's how it kind of started out. And we've done a lot of great interviews where, we were telling you a little bit earlier, where we've trying to upgrade our facilities for certain things. Everyone that we've interviewed already to date, have been fantastic, Steve Marlowe, yourself, Heather. There's a lot of people. David Howard Thornton, of course, is our big one. Eric,
and we still
Raffy.
It's funny. We have these guests of the people who live right next to me. That shit's 5 minutes away from me.
Really?
Yeah, Volante and Megan still haven't come on this fucking show.
They are on some shit. They again, or like we were saying before we came on. This year is fucking weird and things are awkward. So I'm not surprised. Volante and Megan, I feel like we chatted all throughout the spring and most of the winter last year. And, a good portion of winter last year. They are busy. I don't, they are professional.
I talk to them, I talk to him pretty much every day because, I actually just left his house before I came back to home.
What the fuck? He better be watching.
Yeah. He told me he was coming. He told me that he was going to tune in. So we were, because, me and Vlad, we have a lot of things in the works. We don't, outside of the podcast. Yeah. So, yeah. And this. But it's it's just he needs to they don't need to come on. We have something planned, which is dope with Haunt Junkies, so that'll be cool.
You've been called out, haunt junkies. Get your ass over there.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's like they're busy with now. There's so many Christmas haunts
yes,
that are really popular.
Which is great. Okay, which it was the whole point of us doing this today. Which I am going. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, how is it that I'm? It was 2019 when I put myself out there and it became. Well, I've always been Michelle Halloween, but when I started doing my little spiel, this was even before I started doing a show. I was just as busy in fucking December as I was in October, and I'm like, this isn't right. Look, I love Christmas. I like Mary. I don't like Christmas like the Christian version. I like winter. I like Yule. I like the winter solstice because I like darkness and cold.
Right.
Even though I'm sweating right now, it was a good idea. I wore this wig because I was like, it's gonna be cold in the basement. Let me put on a wig, and now I'm hot. But my thing is like, okay, and I'm not mad at this because this is usually a time of the year where I have to do with buying gifts for people I don't want to. But then I got so in depth in Christmas of 2019. I had so much fun. I agree. Christmas is trash. I don't like the capitalism. I don't like buying gifts for people I don't want to buy gifts for. I haven't done that in some time, but it's like the pressures and the bullshit. My money is sacred, especially right now with this move. I'm not used to not having.
Oh yeah,
being on we're level, but it's just like, dude, I don't.
Yeah,
fuck.
So much money around Christmas, and then they hit you with something that's always going to be $300. You see that price tag that says $400, and it's scratched out, and it says $300. They're like, oh shit, that's that sale. But
I'm like,
it's not really much of a
$300.
Yeah,
it's not a sale. But then there's times where you're so pressured. As a mom of 4 kids, Christmas used to stress me out, but now that they're older, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, thank the goddess, because now they're more like, so can I just get some hot chocolate and Chinese food on Christmas Day? I don't want to go to my Nana's house because I don't like them.
Neither do I. I will say though, although like I love Halloween, I do love Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the aspect of I love spending time with my family. Like I get to during Thanksgiving and stuff. I like that too. Like we used to go out every Thanksgiving. We used to go for Black Friday. Like me, Romo, all our friends. I consider him my family. You know what I mean? So like we used to go every Black Friday. We used to go shopping. And for like Christmas, I enjoy that time with my family. I enjoy that. I don't necessarily like getting the gifts.
You're a giver.
But I love to give the gifts.
That's the part I'm with you on.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, I use in full force whatever I get given. Yeah. But if I don't like someone to give me a present and I have to act like, oh, I'm so excited. I am excited. I just don't jump off the page excited.
Yeah. There's a lot of great things about the holidays. Okay, especially you're going to love having a kid because you're going to be like, oh my God, there's all these cool things I can just, I'm not a family person. I mean, I used to be forced to go to this stuff. So I'm like, no, I just want to stay home with my kids. It used to get really stressful, but things are different now. But sort of background, I don't hate the holidays. I hate, just like I said, people and society standards of Christmas. I used to go, Chuck and my husband and I used to go Black Friday shopping too, more or less to just go watch people act like fools. Like there was one time that I'm with Zachariah on that one too, because I have teenagers. What
he said?
You'll see.
Oh,
I went to Macy's one time after Thanksgiving. I went to Macy's one time just because I was like, oh, they have $20 boots. They have $20 boots. I'm gonna go to Macy's, right? So I go to Macy's and no shit, it smelled like fart ass up in there, and bitches were throwing boots, and I think that was my last.
It smelled like
fucking Macy's. It smelled like pure fart ass.
Spraying perfume in the Macy's like they usually.
I know, right in the middle.
The fart smell overpowered the perfume.
The perfume smelled like fart.
Maybe.
And so I went home and I was like, I'm going home. I don't want to do this. But then my husband and I would go, out at 4:00 in the morning just to watch people. We rarely botched it. There was one time though that he did, because he hates Bath and Body Works. So we were at one at like 5:00 in the morning, and my husband, because we had just had food about like 7 hours earlier, and he's blasting ass. I have pictures of it in that Bath and Body Works. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
that's why we didn't buy anything. because I'm all about small businesses now too. But the thing is now that Retail America has basically, told Halloweeners, fuck y'all, we're putting our Christmas shit up in your shit like in September. We barely start getting all of our Halloween stuff in stock in September, or August, September, and then here comes the Christmas shit. We see it all over Instagram, we see it all over memes. Fuck you. So now I've noticed that the Halloweeners are like, well, we're gonna do the same thing with Christmas. I'm about it. And as the years have gone by, I didn't notice there was so much stuff to do. There was one time I was at 3 events one winter in rain in LA. It never rains in LA. And I was at Midsummer Screams Season Screaming. Then we went to Bitchcraft. And then we went to the Krampus ball, which was fucking epic. 2019 was so much fun. There's bodies sliding across the beer-soaked floors. One of the best nights of my life. And it was so much fun. I didn't even have to drink. And I like to drink. I didn't have to drink that night because, first of all, I was tired and I wanted to go home and not die the next day. But it was just so much fucking fun. And I'm about this. So let's talk about the origins of when you started noticing the horror in the holidays. I grew up, I wasn't exposed to movies like Black Christmas or Dial Code Santa. Like, how the fuck would you get a French movie in America in the 80s? I don't know. My parents weren't those kind of people, to give me that stuff. All I had for Christmas horror was Scrooged and Gremlins, which when those came on, I felt so bad. Like, this is scary for Christmas. I liked that as a kid. And then 2015 comes along, and the king of epic horror movies, Michael Daughtry, was like, hey, I'm going to make a movie about Krampus. I had known about Krampus just a little bit, but they made a fucking horror movie. And then it seems to me like in 2015, that's when the Christmas horror days and the Creepmas and all this other stuff started coming out. So what could you say would be the first Christmas horror film that you guys watched?
Honestly, before like last year, I didn't really watch Christmas horrors.
Isn't that funny how it's like this? It's this newer thing.
Yeah, because last year we wanted to cover a Christmas horror because it was our first year, doing the show. So I watched Krampus. That was my first time watching Krampus. But prior to that, I didn't, because growing up,
we didn't have that.
No, I watched a lot of Christmas, like actual Christmas movies, like
Same.
like Elf, Santa Claus,
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, stuff like that. Like that. Those are the things I watched growing up. But I didn't, and like I had a different love for horror in itself. Like I didn't like in a Halloween aspect, not in really holiday or even like Leprechaun. Like last year, that was the first time I saw Leprechaun too. Like I didn't watch.
I love that you're kind of like a newbie to some of this stuff, because sometimes I feel like a bad horror person, because I'm like, we had talked about Zachariah is the star of today's show besides Thriller. Scrooge. I actually wrote a blog about Scrooge. I believe that's a horror movie. But it's really funny to me how I feel like I'm a bad horror person. Like we had talked about Jack Frost last week, and I'm like, I remember trying to watch that movie's terrible, but it's all over Instagram, and I'm going. I was watching it last night as I was writing. I'm going, there's not even a focus. I can't, and I'm all about indie horror, but that one's a rough one.
It steals almost like, and I don't know what year it came out, but it steals like the Chucky storyline, like a serial killer reincarnated as
just a snowman.
Yeah, just a snowman. Like it's so basic at its bones. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool because last year we started doing, we did just that one Christmas special with Krampus, and that was like that's my favorite holiday horror movie. So I was like, it'd be awesome to cover this. Yeah. And this year we're trying to do a few movies, and coming out in the near future. Gremlins was on the list. I told Justin we have to cover because Gremlins,
absolutely,
the first one. That was the first Christmas horror that I saw. I know there's some debate that people say it's not Christmas horror. I mean, you literally have like the Gremlins like swinging around with Christmas hats and stuff. And
it is a terror. I was scared. I remember being a kid going, this would really fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because, as a kid, I really enjoyed Christmas, even though my sister got all the cool shit.
But I was like, I enjoyed the feeling of Christmas. It's like Halloween. I enjoy the feeling. I'm a seasonal person.
Like the
So I
atmosphere.
enjoy the feeling.
Right?
Yes.
It's just like it's cool because like it's I don't know. It gives you like a weird like a different type of sense of like just you're right. It's just a feeling, I guess. Right? It's like it's different.
It's
like,
warm and hopeful at sometimes, but it's like
fuck Thanksgiving. I'm not really like a big.
I don't like Thanksgiving. Obviously,
as soon as November 1st hits, I turn Christmas music on.
Okay, so I had a friend who it must be a spirit thing, but Zachariah lives.
Yeah,
I know, and that's why all your comments will show up on the feed.
I love it.
Same, bitch. We would be wonderful in a movie. We would be great in a movie theater together, which I don't want to go to those right now. Still, I know I'm not. But you know, it's fun. Where were we talking about? Wait, before Zachariah interrupted us, what was that?
The spirit of Christmas.
Oh, Spirit. Okay, so I had this friend I was working with at Spirit in 2018, and he's one of the best haunters I've ever met, home haunters. And he ended up he would tell me as soon as it hits midnight, after doing this, spending months in the heat working on this Halloween haunt, all that shit would get put away on November 1st, and up goes the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
and I'm like, so my husband, and I was laughing because I'm like, that's my husband. Like back in the day, my husband would, you know, he's a sadist, and he was like, let me turn on Christmas music. The day after Halloween, I'm hungover. Okay, look, I'm hungover. I'm not in the mood, and I'm still on the Halloween front. And my husband's trying to put on Christmas with the Cranks because that's okay. We'll get to non-horror holiday movies too. Yeah, but it's this weird feeling. But to me, in a way, Halloween and Christmas kind of, if it were done right, it goes hand in hand because they're both dark holidays. They're both dark. Yeah, you know, it's all about the coming darkness. So. Yeah. Okay. So, and then we'll get Christmas music is atrocious. There used to be a time again when I was a young mom.
Thank you.
And I was like, let's do this.
I love Christmas.
I cannot. When I started realizing I was screaming, I was singing "Oh Holy Night" and it was a religious song. I was like, oh no.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. I can't do it. I can't do it.
What about Mariah?
I don't like it either.
Like Justin Bieber, Christmas is about all I'll do.
I'm going to send you a playlist. I'll send you a playlist that I have. That's pretty bomb. Because it actually takes it takes like the Christmas music and turns it into like metal. I was just listening to it the other day. It was dope.
I need that.
I got Lemmy Kilmister singing Run, Run, Rudolph.
And I love hard rock music. Justin doesn't like it. I'll send him snaps of me listening to like hard metal, and he's like,
oh no, you're a hip hop. You like your genre of choice is hip hop, right?
I love hip hop. I love R&B.
I got you.
Yeah, I love a lot of things.
Do you have Spotify?
Yes.
Have you done your Spotify Wrapped? It tells you like what genres you listen to.
Yeah. So
I had everything.
I have a lot of things. I've recently just gotten into country a little more.
No, okay. Yeah. Don't make me kick you off my podcast.
I'm getting in country like little by little.
Come on now,
because Romo, my wife. One of my best friends, Vise, they all listen to country, and there's a lot of songs that I do like.
We listen to like everything, and country does come on in certain movies.
Yeah, and
Justin isn't about it.
Not all the time. There's very few, and same thing with like hard rock and hard metal, and like when they're screaming, because I sing, and I don't consider fucking scream like when they're screaming and just screaming it. Is that really like I don't. Like, it takes
a lot of talent, Justin. You got to learn how to do it.
You've got to think about it. Think about, you know, I used to imagine Chuck, my husband, used to say the same thing about Chester Bennington. He never understood. And I'm like, dude, imagine you screaming on stage like that for months at a time, every fucking night.
Yeah, people fuck up their vocal cords because they're not supposed to do that.
We're going to talk about your terrible taste in music on another podcast.
And Michelle, you have to send me that playlist. I got it.
I got you.
Okay.
To whatever.
I'll save your life.
That's what he's playing all the time.
What? Oh, I also like to listen to musicals.
I'm not mad at you about that, but I'm also going to forgive you because you live in the South, so you're in Georgia. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of country music down here.
I mean, I like that's all mainly them. My country music is very seldom.
It's funny. We give him
I
crap.
hate it. I hate it. Okay, before I have to go over there and rip off your Buzz Lightyear and Woody Jimmies, I was actually going to write a blog about like why Georgia is kind of cool, and you guys were in there.
So Georgia's like two different places, in my opinion.
It really fucking is.
You have the city of Atlanta, which is like everything. If you go 30 minutes any direction outside of Atlanta, once you pass that, it's the sticks.
It's country.
Yeah. It's like in Atlanta, it's like I always joke about it when I like drive up to work. It's like an hour away from where I'm going. I live in Atlanta in the city, so I'll listen to rap, and then when I'm like 15 minutes away, I'll listen to like pop or whatever I want to listen to, some rock, and then when I get like 40 minutes out, throw the country on. Just have to play the vibe.
To survive.
You just do it just to whatever I'm feeling at the moment.
Nope.
I did get a sub put in my car because riding around Atlanta with a sub in my car felt right.
He did. I remember that.
Yeah.
I love you guys for a reason. Okay, so back to horror because music is not a discussion tonight.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I gave you some assignments to watch because after Krampus came out, I remember. And let me just reflect on a Christmas memory I had when we used to have to go to families' houses for that. I used to drink Winter Jack, and that used to be hard to find. The Winter Jack. So bomb, right?
It's the coolest bottle.
It is. And it tastes delicious. You could drink it straight. You could drink it warm. You could drink it cold. You could drink it however the fuck you want to drink it. So I would drink it I remember one year I actually acquired like 4 bottles, and I did not want to go to my mom's for Christmas, and I did not want to go to my husband's mom's for Christmas. I don't like either one of them. So I was like, I don't want to do this. So I remember I started drinking Winter Jack about 10 a.m. on Christmas Eve because they both wouldn't fucking share our family. So we had to go to both. And it was just dumb bullshit, family bullshit. Like Veronica was saying, like holidays equals toxic family members all want to get together so they could abuse each other is what it is.
Yep.
It is.
I remember going, okay, well then I'm just gonna get shit faced. And I was drinking Winter Jack up and from 10 a.m. until 1 o'clock in the morning. I was so fucking hungover Christmas Day. We couldn't make it to my aunt's house, which I wanted to go to, but I was so fucking sick. Yeah. I couldn't handle the rest of my Christmas duties. And I used to kill Christmas. But that year I had hung up my hat or whatever I was wearing. But I remember we put on Krampus at my husband's mom's house, and one of his aunts was just like, oh my God. But that's when it like kind of hit me like there has to be more to Christmas than just Michael Bublé and Mariah Carey. And I love the Krampus. I have a list of my favorite Christmas or my holiday horror films. And definitely Krampus is the go-to. I could actually watch Krampus in the spring if I fucking wanted to. I usually save all my holiday movies for the winter time. But Krampus is one I love. Well, Michael Daughtry can't do anything wrong, in my opinion. So watching Krampus, and I remember we went to the movie theater to see that movie, and I wasn't sure what to expect after Trick or Treat. You know, and I think Krampus came out after Godzilla too, a year after he after the regular Godzilla, the first Godzilla in this new trilogy. But so Krampus came out, and then I remember, wait, is that right? When did his King of Monsters came out in 2018? So Krampus was epic. I remember going, I'm with you, Z. That's why I've done my work to find a curator, because I have to get into the holiday mood. There's some dark shit on the internet that you can find. It's like sitting in the dark winter woods in the PMW and and I have another horror story to share with you guys later about our Christmas tree. So we can make holidays horror. But I remember going to the theater and watching Krampus and going, I really thought I was going into a horror movie. I didn't read anything about it, but it was the perfect horror comedy. I mean, you got Conchata Ferrell, who's one of those surprising actresses who's just the fucking bomb. And then you have fucking Toni Collette, who is in my opinion, just as good as Jamie Lee Curtis. She's
she's probably my favorite horror actress.
Isn't she amazing? And she's so versatile. Oh my God.
She's my favorite. I loved her in Hereditary. She's
that movie scares the fuck out of me.
Oh my God.
It doesn't scare me. It makes me very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that's what I went for. Yeah,
it's a movie that I have trouble. I mean, I own it, but I remember coming out of the movie theater and smoking 6 cigarettes after that movie.
Gotcha.
Because it was too much. And then I bought it, and I was telling myself the other day, you should conquer some of your PTSD and watch Hereditary. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It does make you fucking feel anxious. So
it really does. It makes me feel like shit. And so we're watching Krampus, and I remember I took my kids because I was like, you spoiled ass bitches. You're gonna watch. I really was with that mom who was like, I'm gonna scare you dickheads with Krampus because the elf on the shelf wasn't working.
Yep.
Fucking Santa wasn't working because my kids are spoiled white kids from Rancho Cucamonga, California. So I was like, I'm gonna scare you motherfuckers. And it actually worked. They actually got in trouble at school for talking about Krampus.
They did?
I love that like has become so much of the forefront of pop culture though. Like as soon as that movie dropped, everybody was like Krampus.
Well, look at it now. I'm looking at all these blogs and I'm going, there has to be more because every Halloweener and horror fanatic is all about Krampus. And again, I am not mad. He deserves it. He deserves it all because he is the epitome. He's better. He's more effective than Santa. He's more effective than any other dark holiday lore because he does what all of us want to do: punish our kids.
Yep.
And not get them gifts when they're assholes. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. Just
you'll understand, Justin. You'll understand.
Okay.
You'll get it. You'll understand when they're like about 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. You'll start to understand where I'm coming from because again, I'm the bitch who's like, when am I gonna have a grandkid, but also like ready to put up my teenagers for adoption. So you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, I love them.
What you've dealt with.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, I really just want some, cuddly, cute little human creature, and then give them back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I can't give my kids back.
Said, when I got with Hannah, I said, "Hey, let's have a kid, and when they turn 5, let's give them away."
Oh, I had always said 13 was the age. I mean, 5 is a fun age. 5
is when they start like growing and they start becoming not cute anymore. You know? So it's like,
no, I have a 12-year-old who's still super cute, but then when that mood swing hits, it's like,
yeah.
No, you got to go
I don't
somewhere.
know. It's like when they start talking to like forming real sentences and they start talking and I'm like, let's shut that shit down real quick though. When my son turns 5.
Well, that's what you have Krampus for. What did Zachariah say? Krampus is kind of overdone now through the goth alternative community. I have to agree with Z on that one. I'd rather not observe the season period. You've told me, I know, but you also like the heat and the sun. So this is why we're like BFFs because we can argue like it.
That's how do you have Tubi for like watching movies and stuff?
Sometimes I have Tubi. It depends on what I feel like watching.
Yeah, it's talking about what Zachariah was saying. It's like it has so many movies, but like the like creme de la creme on there is far and few between. So like if you want 6 different Krampus movies, you can find them there.
Which is funny too because they all predated Michael Daughtry's. It's funny how like when big movie budgets actually work, which is only like once a decade for me. But Krampus worked, and I hope that Michael Daughtry knows that what he's done for the horror community.
Oh, yeah.
I just went to a bar that was absolutely wonderful on Friday night. It's a Halloween bar. It's usually a horror themed bar all year long, but they did the most superb Krampus horror themed decor I have seen. It'll give LA shit a run for their money.
That's amazing.
It was, and the food and the drinks were superb. It was like honoring Krampus. So I'm doing something a little different with my blog this year because like Z said, it is overdone. I'm not over Krampus. I never will be. To me, he is Santa now at this point. He's overtaken Santa. But what it did was I was curious after Krampus because that's when I started really getting into Christmas horror or holiday horror. And I found all kinds of fucking shit. Like I have a whole list here. So to put it on the top, Krampus is always going to be number 1. But last year, even besides Scrooge, besides all the shit that I've watched, I've discovered some new shit. I finally gave because every time I've watched Christmas horror, it's kind of like, the fuck did I just watch? What did I just waste 2 hours for?
Right.
Like I remember watching Dial Code Santa, and I don't hate that movie, but it's like it's a good thing I'm high when I watch it because otherwise I couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
One of those.
Krampus is my shit, dude. I fall asleep to it. Krampus is a whole aesthetic. Let's just say that. It's a whole aesthetic, Ryan Gibson.
Krampus while I'm watching Krampus. That's awesome.
I'm about it. Because as soon as I left that bar, I wanted to come home and watch Krampus.
And you're talking about all the performances, like everybody's fantastic. Adam Scott is great. Kid actors are fantastic in it.
Little Max and the twins and the Jesus was born in a barn, that dude.
And the grandma.
Yeah.
The grandma.
Yeah,
and it's funny because we took our kids to see this movie with the hopes that it would bring them closer to their German grandma who came from Germany, my husband's mom. But she says, well, she's the worst German I've ever met. And I don't know but like one other one besides her when that was in high school. But like she was mad at us for, introducing Krampus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, you raised two heathens. Bitch,
Yep.
you should have been doing Krampus the whole time. Like your kids suck. Like they're terrible.
Yeah.
My husband's awesome now.
You might be onto something there. I just know that my kid's gonna be a wild child. I just know it.
So do Krampus.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very, very, very early age. I think I'll probably start watching that right when he turns 1.
I think you should, and because again, it's not scary, but it's like that thing, like, hey, you better be good. Santa won't come for you, and damn well you're still gonna get your kid a gift.
List.
It has enough. It has enough.
I could just tell them both. I could be like, hey, you'll get coal, and Krampus will come. Yeah, Krampus will come take you.
Do it. Just know that the schools don't approve. Just be prepared for that call. Stand by your kid, though.
Okay. Like I was just telling Hannah about this. Because I was like, hey, I actually don't know if I want to introduce my kid to Santa. And like, here's I don't know. Because like, do I want to tell my kid, hey, Santa's been the one buying you these gifts? Or do I tell him, it's my fucking money. You get these gifts from me. You need to appreciate me for getting you these gifts for Christmas. And I don't know. And then like, one of the things I was thinking about was like, oh, they're going to tell the kids at a very young age that Santa's not real.
Yeah.
So when the teacher comes to talk to me, I'm going to tell them that's how they're taught in this house. And I don't care what I don't
I honestly, and I think that's actually a really good parenting move. It's one that I question every holiday season, even now. Because one of the things I had decided when I became a mom at the ripe old age of 19 was that I would never admit to my kids that Santa wasn't real. And I still hold true to that, even though they absolutely know the truth. But it's just for my own fun because I like fucking with my kids all the time.
Santa is still real in my family. Like,
well,
I'll say, send mama, send me a list, and she'll make me send Santa a list, and I'm like,
that's really cute. I will do that. I will still do things like that, even though they know the truth. But the thing is, I think about it all the time. I'm going, okay, I lied to my kids. And Santa used to get, because again, I'm a lot older than you guys. So back in my day, it was all about, please your kid, your life doesn't matter anymore once you have kids. Your life matters. Just so you know, your life still matters. But when I was, coming up, again, I had my first kid at 19 and I'm almost 42. The magic of Christmas was a big deal to me, the magic, but I still wasn't aware of who I really was, as a magical person. Or, that kind of witchy person. But Santa was a big deal because it was about the wonder. But at the same time, now that I look back on it, I'm going, I gave Santa all this credit. But then again, no matter what I did, my kids, I had given up my whole life. Like I lost over a decade, I feel like, of being a mom and not knowing who I was myself. So it was like, I gave Santa all this credit. I gave everybody else all this credit. The wonder, yes, and I agree. And honestly, it's just the magic of winter that is the embodiment of what Santa was for me that I wanted to convey to my kids. It just didn't work out that way because I was doing it all wrong. But I do think there's one of the things one of my parental regrets is actually giving Santa so much credit. You know what I mean? But I'll still tell the stories. Like I swear I heard him one time when I was 9 on the roof of my house. And my kids were like, oh, it was Nana or Pa on the state. I go, have you met your Nana and Pa? Their lazy asses aren't getting up on that roof. It wasn't them. It was just, when you're so imaginative, you hear things and you see things. So I was like, it was the wonder of Christmas that I wanted my kids to have, and they still have it. So I'm like, even though they know Santa isn't a thing, I still I don't make a big deal out of it anymore. And I also regret putting my kid on those fucking Santa's laps, dude. That's gross.
Yep.
It's so perverted. What did I do?
I don't know. I think I might. I don't know. We'll see.
You know, real life is Christmas horror. Let's just talk about real life is a horror story. That's why the intro to Krampus was everything. Like, I remember seeing the intro to Krampus and going, "Oh my god, this is!" I already love this movie.
That, like, it was funny because that was one of the things I pointed out. I was like, "Oh, this looks like your typical Christmas like film. Oh, it's so happy," and then all of a sudden, everybody's fucking fighting in the movie, and it's like, this is actually probably more true than it is like
on how it goes.
It is true. Yeah. And that's where Max, and again, it goes deeper. And I know we have other horror to talk about, but I really love saying, but Santa didn't work for our kids. You know that. And then the thing is, they still got what they fucking wanted. But it's funny because the lessons in Krampus, and I wrote about this in my blog, like when Max said, why do we have to put up with their crap just because we share DNA? That shit hits. Shit hits. Like, why do we have to put up with this knowing that we fucking hate each other? Why are we in the same building? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember questioning that as a kid. Like, okay, I know damn well my mom is only here to try to show off how much money she has to my aunt who has more money than her, and then the aunt that doesn't have that much money. You know what I mean? Like, I had always picked up on the bullshit hypocrisy of the holidays. And Max, I'm going, I'm watching this, all my questions being answered with this bitchin' mythological creature from Germany.
It embodies everything, like you're saying. Like, it's like, don't like, I don't appreciate my family. And then Krampus is like, well, because you don't, I'm just going to go take everybody.
Honestly, the end of that movie is very subjective. Have you read up on it? It's so subjective. And the way that I took it as, again, I put myself into the movie. My personal hell would have to, it's like when people are like, I remember one of my like breaking points with my own mom, and I'll share this publicly, was I had already put up these soft boundaries with my mom. And she pressed me to go to lunch with her one day, just her and I. So I finally did. It was in early 2019. And I went, and she was telling me that she was being pressed by other people in the family to get baptized. Okay. And I was like, then don't do it if you don't want to fucking do it, you know? But then like a week later, she messaged me, hey, Ma, I'm going to get baptized. I would like you to be there. And I'm going, I'm not fucking going to your baptism. You didn't even want to do it. You let them press you. Like, come on. So I don't know where I was going with this. Can someone remind me?
Theories on Krampus ending?
Oh, okay. So my personal house is like when people are like, hey, let's get saved and we'll all go to heaven together. So that was something I heard a lot growing up, and I'm going, I don't want to fucking go to heaven with y'all. I'll go to hell where all the cool people are at, right? So then, so my thing of my perspective of the ending of Krampus was the personal hell for Max would have had to have been living with his family and reliving that fucking Christmas over and over again. I still think he was given a chance by Krampus, but it was like, okay, y'all would either get along, and to me, I would have been like, we don't need to spend Christmas together.
Yeah.
Krampus gave us a second chance. Bye.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. I was like, he's forced to live out this day, like this Christmas day with a family, and all that shit was so horrible for him. He just has to live that out now.
Yep.
In his life.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh no, they got out and everything. Like they're fine. Like it was all a dream.
Like a second chance type of. They all had the same fucking dream though, because you saw at the end they were all just like, "Are we going to talk about this?"
Right. Yeah. Tony Collette saying 1,000 words without saying any words.
Right.
Over.
The Omi, she was like, "Oh shit, again." Like,
yeah, she knew from the beginning.
Oh, she knew right away. That's why she was in there fucking up that kitchen with all that food and cookies and shit. You know what I mean? Like, that movie is therapeutic as fuck. I'm just saying. So Krampus is more than just Christmas horror. It's the real deal. I would like to actually pick Michael Daughtry's brain on the script, or whoever wrote the script. Like, let's talk about this.
Put so much effort into just a holiday horror movie, a horror comedy. Also, it puts so much effort and so much substance to it.
Your mama's a fat chance. I'll talk to Michael Daughtry one day. I think
Oh, yeah.
every time I half see Michael Daughtry, though, I'm a fucking mess. Like, there's one time I met him because I had to sign the Godzilla King of Monsters book, and I was so like fucking whacked out of my head and starstruck. I was like touching his head.
Oh shit!
Sent you a picture. And then I saw him at Midsummer Scream, and I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to him. But it was like this really awkward scene. It was just bad. But like now I'm a little better now. But I would love to speak to him about, like, because he doesn't do a lot of interviews, you know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Krampus started this whole thing. I mean, next thing you know, we're getting, and I'm sure these things were around before the movie, like Krampus balls. I started noticing like more in my awakening, like the witchcraft and you know, all these Yule balls and stuff like that, which is really cool because I was in Harry Potter. I think that's when I was like, oh, dude, a Yule ball? I want to do one of those. Okay.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Call you out. Damn.
That happened. Yeah.
When you met Tony Todd?
I didn't meet him. What happened was we were at some convention and we were going up to some part of the area of this auditorium we weren't supposed to be in, but I was like, oh, we're fine. And then here comes Tony Todd, and I fell against the wall. I mean, have you met him? He's like 10 feet tall.
He's huge.
And he's like so intimidating, but also like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen because he's like your Candyman. So I remember I fell against the wall and tripped and kind of like fell, and he goes, "Are you okay, ma'am? Are you okay?" And I'm like,
what she's failing to really mention is her facial expression said, "Oh shit, that's Tony Todd. My dreams have been met."
my Candyman dreams have been met. And it was so funny. He was one of the first people that followed me on Instagram in 2011.
That's awesome.
That's great. Like, I mean, that's a goal. Time. Yeah, it's a goal.
Well, we all know what happened to my Instagram, so I don't have Tony Todd on there anymore, but whatever, I'll get him again.
And now you got the new one.
Yeah, so whatever. But I don't know, it's just this movie, like, it did something for the horror genre. So next thing I know, I'm going to Krampus balls, and there's like this Krampus band playing Rammstein songs, and they're throwing baby dolls into the audience. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to start looking into more Christmas horror. So, you know, in the past years, there's Christmas horror is atrocious most of the time, but there are some beautiful gems out there. And I asked you to do a little bit of homework. Christmas Carol is probably the worst thing about Christmas besides Mariah Carey and Celine Dion. And
like
Michael
the original Scrooge, like
no. Scrooged is great with Bill Murray. That's a great fucking film. Okay,
story in general.
You mean like the
story, the Charles Dickens book?
Oh, okay.
Boring. All the other renditions of it, even the Disney version. We like Disney film. Boring.
Yeah.
Boring.
Why do you say that?
It's boring.
Oh,
yeah. I've never got into it.
Yeah. So like.
It's long, and I don't understand Shakespeare.
Is that Hulu show you put me on to?
No, I was wondering what you thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did turn that on the day we talked about it. I like heavily like started me and my wife. I stopped watching because I wanted to. I didn't want to keep watching without her because I do it so many times where we watch something and then
here's excuses. What part did you get up to?
Huh? I got to like chapter 4, I think, like chapter 4. They did it. They did it in chapters. So yeah, I don't know how many episodes there are, but I got I got to where his wife came back.
Okay, you have to keep going. Okay, I want to pick this part. What kind of state of mind were you when what we're talking about for audience people that are there, is A Christmas Carol 2019. Okay, I decided to stay home on Black Friday and get fucking stoned out of my mind because I was like indigestion full of tacos. I made a lot of tacos for Thanksgiving. So I didn't just stay home, all right? So I'm like, hey, let's check out, seriously, it's 2021. We're going on 2022. I feel like I've watched every fucking thing on TV, but I love to binge, and I love when I find a treasure. So I was like, let's check out Christmas Carol from 2019 with what's his name, guy fucking what's his name, dude's a great actor. it has some pretty cool people, and you got I hate when I get drunk and I can't think of people's names. What's his fucking name? He played Gollum in Andy Serkis. Okay, so he's in it. You get some surprising little actors in there. I found the film. Okay, it wasn't a film. It was like a series. It was so dark. Scrooge was a fucking piece of shit, dude. He was the worst of the worst rendition of Scrooge ever. Like the most evilest piece of shit ever. And he doesn't relent until the last fucking minute. That was a spoiler. Oh well. I don't know, Justin. I get, because I watched it again, and I'll admit that I was super stoned when I watched it the first time. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe we should have a drink. Okay, and I'll admit that it's a little slow. But what I was picking up on was that he is super autistic. Like he has some autistic tendencies. Like when he was counting.
Oh yeah.
He was doing the counting of like the sounds outside, and I'm going.
And like the people come in for, what was the thing they were asking for? They're asking for was it bones? Was it? I don't know if they were asking. I don't remember. But the guy that was asking for bones, and I don't remember if it was bones or something like that. But he was counting a lot.
Yeah, he was.
And his wife even noticed that he wasn't counting properly at some point.
At all. He was like the epitome of greedy, and I'm going, there's a disconnect here. But I was bad. I think what got me was the coffin scene with Jacob Marley. And the story is dark. It reminded me a little bit of Penny Dreadful in a sense, the show Penny Dreadful a little bit. Where it was like, you know how Penny Dreadful was super exciting, and then it got really slow, and like the third season was super hard to watch. I don't remember getting through it. And that's how it was with this particular rendition of Christmas Carol. It is fucking scary at some points. I was jumping. I was anxious. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I probably didn't get that far because I wasn't that anxious. I wasn't that scared, but I felt bad for I can't think of his name, but his worker.
Cratchit, yeah.
And I did feel for him, and then when his wife came in and started undressing, and I was like,
okay, so you did get to that part. Okay, it gets okay, so maybe it was more dramatic, but there was like a lot of fear to it. And then there's like I don't know. What did you think about like even the visuals were absolutely?
I thought it was great, man. I was like, the pictures in these were insane. Like the graphics. I think the writing was great. I think overall, like I'm surprised I haven't heard about it. Like that's how good I think the show is. I do enjoy it a lot, and that this is how I know the acting is good. Is when I feel invested and I feel something.
Yeah.
That is how I know the acting is good. Because regardless of the writing, your writing could be completely shit. But if you're acting over here and like they make you feel invested and they feel, and you feel like you're part of it, that's how I know. And that's how I felt with the wife and him. I just felt really, really bad for him. Mm-hmm. And then when he said that he was offered a new job and he was going to take that, and then the music hit there, my heart sunk.
Because you knew, knowing all the elements to that particular story. Mm-hmm. To me, that Guy Pearce, that's who he is, who played Scrooge. It was probably the best rendition since Scrooge, because Christmas Carol is it's trash. I hated the Jim Carrey version. I hate all the versions. I don't hate versions. I hate all renditions of Christmas Carol because it's super I don't know, you could just definitely tell it was, a story of its time, and it was just boring. But this one, I don't know what it did to me. And again, I put it off for a long time, but I had nothing else to watch, and I'm going, okay, I've already watched Krampus today. I've already watched something, but we watched the whole thing in its entirety that same day on Black Friday after watching that new movie with Bruce Campbell, Black Friday. Oh, did you guys watch that?
No, I didn't. No,
I don't find it a Christmas movie. It's definitely a Black Friday movie.
I gotta put that down.
Watch that one. We bought it, and to me, it's worth, because, okay, first of all, can we talk about Devon Sawa's comeback? I love it. And he's a lot hotter than he was in the early 2000s. Like,
he's aging in reverse.
And he looks good. Like, at first, when I saw him in Chucky, I was like, ew, but then I was only paying attention to the one version of him,
Right.
I'm not giving any Chucky spoilers away because I'm doing Chucky chat next week, but that show surprised the fuck out of me too. But Devin Sawa,
they kept like the original storyline going, and
yes,
I've seen up to. I know you're talking about it, so I've seen up to before this last episode. So I have this.
I'm not saying anything.
Watch. I've heard it's amazing.
It's such a good show. I have to thank my sis Goth Cakes Mystic for making me watch it because I wouldn't have watched it because I've been checking out. But this was epic. Like this was good. But Devin Sawa, I was like, what the fuck's he doing in this shit? And then he shows up in Black Friday, and I'm like, okay, I see you, boo. Like, hey, I remember you from Final Destination, and you know what I mean. Like, I love me some cute white boys, like cute, good looking white, like well-to-do white boys. Those are always my favorite. But Christmas Carol, again, clearly only one of you watched it.
He did. I started it last year, and I didn't get back around to it, but it was not because I didn't like it. It was because I had other things pop up. But he texted me about it. He's like, hey, have you watched this? I really wanted to watch it this week. And I was like, I don't have time, unfortunately, to get it this week, but I know you'll follow it. But what I got through the first episode, and like I said, it was last Christmas time. I started watching it because I was really interested, and I was like, "Oh, you're giving me a horror twist on Scrooge like this," and it looked like I'd just gotten Hulu at the time too. So I was really trying to find Hulu stuff on Hulu that were like hidden gems, and I started watching. I was like, "Oh my god, it's super gothic, like a lot of like dark Victorian vibes," and I was like, "All right, I need to watch this." And things happened. I didn't get to finish it, but we were talking about it the other day, so I have it on my list of things I need to watch this season.
Yeah, just give it a shot. But I have to say, again, I was wondering. I had this feeling that I was gonna get like this feedback. Like it wasn't that good, Michelle. No. I'm trying to get Zachariah to watch it too.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was bad at all. I thought it was cool, and
but I could see where it gets a little like.
There's one guy that like he popped up on the screen, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's that dude from Black Panther." It was
That's what he's in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, Andy Serkis. Yeah.
Black Panther.
I knew he was like he was in Black Panther, wasn't he? But I was like, but he's Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and he's Kong from Peter Jackson's. He's fucking fine too. Like he was okay. Black Panther is my favorite Marvel movie, besides from Doctor Strange and Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. Okay, those are my. I like the underdog. Black Panther's my shit. Why is everybody fine as fuck in that movie? I was texting my husband because I didn't take him to see it with me. I went to see it with my kids, and I'm like, everybody in this movie is fucking sexy. Yeah. I've never seen so many fine ass. Even Andy Serkis, who I would never find it. His buff. He was buff.
Man, look good.
So I was like, did he capture? He seemed kind of big in this Christmas Carol rendition. He was kind of leh. But I thought it was really cool when he was like, I'm gonna fucking watch me bring Scrooge back. Like the 1,000 men before him, he came back without Scrooge.
I do have a question for you about that. Maybe you can answer this. Why is Jacob suffering for Scrooge's actions?
Isn't that funny? Guilty by association because he didn't do okay, so if you watch the show, and we're doing spoilers here, so anyone who's listening or watching, they were business partners. And while Scrooge was the mastermind of bullshit, Jacob Marley didn't do shit when that mine exploded. And then we come to find out that wasn't the only mine that went under. It was all kinds, and people were losing their lives. And Jacob Marley didn't do shit because he was getting rich.
Oh, is that why that guy who was like doing that thing, is that why he showed up and he was like, oh, you don't know who I am.
Yep.
But I died because of you.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's why all the chains, all the links to that chain, that was another thing that just moved me and gave me goosebumps. It's all those chains that he wore, because you'll be watching the change after you hear, the story. Every time Jacob Marley's on the scene, was a life that was lost because of Jacob and Scrooge's bullshit.
Yeah, see, smart. That's smart writing.
Yeah, it was, and that's where I'm like, okay. And I remember I had to read A Christmas Carol in my youth. I will never read it again, because it's like reading Huckleberry Finn.
Like 1,000 pages, right, or something.
Yeah, of shit. And I don't understand. Like Shakespeare was already difficult for me because There's some things that I was like, okay, well, that's beautiful, but like the old language, the old English, I don't like. So it's always hard for me to read.
Yeah.
And I love to read.
Too. It's hard to write that. It is like now. So like I'm sure it was a lot easier back then when people talk that way. But when you try to do it now, or like so like I write scripts, and every now and again we'll have like some type of language, and I don't mean that as in like a Korean, Filipino, Spanish, whatever, but just the type of language that you want to capture and you want everybody to capture.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's this one thing where people like, for example, shit, what's that movie? I can't. Why am I blanking? What? No. Well, that too. 3 parts. We just covered it. 1, 2, 3. Very new. Fear Street.
Yes.
Number 3.
I was gonna say Fear Street, right?
Yes.
That was so good.
Yes, I loved Fear Street, but they had that type of writing in the third one. I'm sure
the third one, yeah. It reminded me of like watching The Witch for the first time.
Yep.
That's
where
what
I had to go back. Yeah, you have to go back and go, oh, this is how they
that
talk.
to him, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking hate this third movie because I hated The Witch. I didn't like it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I can't stand him on that take. I
hate
love
The Witch? That movie's epic.
I love that movie so much, and I was like, "You need to watch this movie so bad." He couldn't get past like the old English.
It just threw me off so much.
Or, like the older times talking, I should say.
And then what the fuck?
Well, I think
I to be the villain in this is the fucking goat.
It's very actually accurate.
Yeah,
it makes sense at the end.
Yeah.
And he's not even the enemy, dude. It's like again, my perspective of the witch, it differs from a lot of people. It's the fucking toxic ass family, dude.
Yeah.
And to me, because again, of course, there is a lot of hard shit to get through. Like, I have no idea what was going on when the son was dying with the apple in his throat. Like, what the fuck was he talking about? I have no idea. It was the acting that moves me past all his blathering. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Christians love to blather. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Yeah, so it's like
Volante says the same thing. He goes, I fucking love The Witch. And he goes, you're wrong for not liking it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get mad at you. You know what? I'll just to make you feel a little more comfortable, okay? Mm-hmm. Because of the unpopular opinion that we're discussing. I actually was not into. Okay, so I'm 41. So when Scream came out, I was 16 or 17, and I was goth as fuck. Okay, I was goth as shit. I was that angry goth, like fuck the world goth. Can you stop texting when I'm on my show? It comes up. Stop group texting me. I hated Scream when it came out in 1997. I hated it. I saw the theater opening night. I hated it. Ooh. And I was like, this is bullshit. Fuck you, Wes Craven. That's a terrible thing to say.
God. Do you like it now?
Oh, I love it. I appreciate it so much more now. And I'm going, I was such a dumb goth for hating that movie. I hated Titanic too. When it came, I was laughing at the end. Now I love Titanic for the comedic.
You can still laugh at the end.
Yeah, question. Do you think she should have let him on to the thing?
Dude, I'm married. I certainly would have let him go. I'm so lying. I would have let, because I tell my husband now, I'm like, nothing will happen to you if I die. If you die, the world ends. Like, I'm fucked. But no, should she have let him go? She wanted to let him go. She wanted her freedom more than she wanted her boyfriend. You know what I mean? That shit was funny. But I remember just being like this hater, and I'll admit I hated Scream. And now I'm like, I want to be part of the Scream movement because I get it now. But I still have that teenager like, bitch, you don't belong here because you weren't there at the beginning. You just now got it. So maybe as you get, I don't know, The Witch is just something very profound, and it's very to me it was very well written because he reminded me a lot of like Ransom Riggs, who wrote Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. He wrote The Witch based off of journals that he found, or that he came upon, back in that time. So it was kind of like accurate. And this is somebody's diary, and he put a bunch of stories together to make a story. So to me, it was like, okay, I get it. And this is how people spoke back then. Could you imagine Black folks speaking like that? We didn't speak like that. So of course it was hard for us to understand, the white folk and the way that the Pilgrims and the way they spoke, those Protestants. But the movie was beautiful. And I remember the one reason why I watched it was because Stephen King, he talks a lot of shit. He was like, this movie terrified me. So I was like, well, if it scares him, I got to watch it. It didn't scare me. It elated me. It excited me because I'm like, oh, I get it. I want to live deliciously too. I would have done the same shit. You know what I mean? I am fucking, what's her fucking name? Babe, what's her name? Thomason. I am Thomason. God damn it. Yeah. But it's that old English shit. But that's what got me with a Christmas or a Christmas Carol. It's boring. I don't want to. And then, like with this rendition of it, there's no way there's going to be a twist. He ain't getting out of this shit. Like he's not getting out because he was relentless and sticking to his shit like someone we know that was formerly our president. You know, that's why I was comparing him to during the whole. I was comparing Scrooge to Trump the whole time in Christmas Carol. I'm like, you motherfucker! I've never hated. I didn't even want to watch the Disney version of Scrooge. I was so mad at the Scrooge. I was like, this dude is a piece of shit. He's a horrible, horrible character. There's no way the Ghost of the Christmas Future is going to let this slide because he was not relenting. He wasn't learning lessons. He didn't give a fuck. And then all of a sudden, boom. And the whole story just changed, but it doesn't. It's. You just need to finish it. Just trust.
So he did. He did change his ways.
Kind of. But people weren't as receptive to him as they were in the past and all the other renditions. You know what I mean?
I'll watch it.
There's plenty of stuff to watch because I have another one for you that I really want you guys to watch. If you haven't already, another gem that came up for me. Again, you know, Black Christmas is silly. It's fun. It's a fun one. I'm not mad at it. It's something I like to watch like once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's cool. All the Creatures Were Stirring. I was really into that one because I actually watched the film being developed on Instagram. I'm a huge admirer of Rebecca McKendry. So I was like, anything she does, I want to be a part of. That's a fun film. And it has this real LA vibe. So I think that's why I liked it a lot. And it's an anthology. I like anthologies. But the one that really surprised me, other than A Christmas Carol 2019, the TV series, was Better Watch Out. Did you watch Better Watch Out?
Yes, love that movie. I love that movie. I watched it like a week ago. Again, I've seen it so many times before that, but I watched it again about a week ago because I tried to kick off December with that being one of them. And basically, like, I don't know, there's just so much good. Like, there's so many things in that I didn't expect.
Yes, like
in 2016 or something, kind of like
it was 2016.
Yeah, it was so.
It was like a year after Krampus came out.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
This is part of your homework. Oh no, I was giving you time because I wanted you to watch Christmas Carol. Okay, I kind of have regrets now. I just have to say, I Better Watch Out. I turned it on because I was bored, and I only watched it last year. It was the first time I watched it because I was kind of like, I'm not watching any other Christmas horror because I'll admit that there are some regular horror or non-horror Christmas movies that I like that I will sit there and watch during the whole season, and I'll get to those in a minute. But Better Watch Out, I was like, let me turn this on. And I watched it with my family. And like my kids were even intrigued, obviously, because I have teenagers. That movie surprises shit. It starts one way and it does not end the way. Like right at the middle, it's like plot twist.
Is it fucked up?
Oh, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up in the ways of like.
It's like Home Alone.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A really, really fucked up, diabolical Home Alone, but like.
Because I love Home Alone.
The kid is just like,
so that's good.
The kid is just absolutely wild. You think like the twist happens a lot earlier in this movie than like a lot of movies wait till the end to do a twist. Mm-hmm. This movie
they do the shit right in the middle.
Yeah, just plop it in there, and then it gets even like you think, oh, the twist is like that's the climax. Like no, the twist like has its own climaxes like as it keeps going.
I think I might put. Is that on Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max?
Just buy it. If you can't find it on a streaming service, just buy the damn thing. It's worth your money. It's up there with Krampus, in my opinion.
Yeah, Billy from Stranger Things is in it for a little bit.
The kid from Alexander, the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
Yep,
he's in it. I like that kid. He was also in Super 8. He was in Goosebumps.
I had to look up his name, but it was Ed Oxenbould. He was in The Village, right? Or not The Village. The Visit.
I don't know. I liked the cameo by Billy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, I loved it, and him showing up with like the backwards hat on, like as the ex-boyfriend.
I was like, "Who are you, Eminem?"
Yeah, it was. And that, oh, and I won't spoil anything, but the scene with him is just absolutely like, it's genius. How, like,
this is a gem. And, whoever's watching or listening tomorrow, put Better Watch Out on your must watch list before the holiday season ends. You will not regret it. You got Virginia Madsen. Speaking of Candyman, she's in that shit. You got I have no idea why her character was in the film, because it was like so unnecessary, but so I'm happy that the parents were in it for when they were in it. But this movie, I remember, let's talk just without spoilers if you can, just like I remember watching this movie and going, what the fuck just happened? And it just kept, I was really upset and disheartened and heartbroken and terrified. And I'm like, at one hand, I'm like, fuck this kid. At the same time, I'm like, there's a mental health issue.
Yeah. He's crushing on his babysitter that's significantly older than him.
Hey,
and he doesn't see the disconnect.
That was a big thing back in. There's nothing wrong with crushing on your babysitter.
Well, maybe when you do it.
My babysitter was the one who got me into the gothdom and turned out to be a lesbian. So I'm like, ooh. It's your fault I am the way I am.
Not her fault.
But yeah, that is definitely a Christmas horror film that to me is right up there with Krampus.
A lot of good kills in it too. Like, even though there's
so much good kills.
There's one that's very simple, but it's shocking because you probably know what I'm talking about, where it's not like a creative kill, but it's just shocking because of the people involved and what it is.
And where it came from.
It made me so sad. It made me sad.
It did. And he brought up the Mythbusters too, didn't he?
Yes.
A dick. Such a dick.
It was so bad.
This movie it will fuck you up. I'm preparing you now. And then after you watch it, once you break your cherry, Better Watch Out, then you're gonna enjoy. I mean, you're gonna enjoy it as you watch it, but just know you're in for a really pleasant surprise. Like,
it's really worth continuing to watch. Like, it's so rewatchable.
Yeah, it totally, because then you want to go, okay, I want to watch it from this perspective, and I want to watch it from this perspective. I probably would turn that on tonight. Krampus is
where it goes is a whole different perspective.
Yes, and I was wondering, I feel like I want a part 2, and I never want a part 2.
Yeah, they
want a part 2? Give me a short, like just a little short.
Yeah, that would work, because like how they left it at the end, like there's things you can't come back from.
No,
how they left it at the end. So
yeah.
There's like,
okay,
it goes one way, and then you're like, oh, it's gonna end up like this, and then the ending happens. You're like, oh,
here we go again. I thought we were gonna go some more, and
Yep.
I was like, first, let me push a pause because I need a drink.
Yep. I'll take a triple.
Movie's a wild ride. Watch it with your family.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Maybe I'll watch it with my wife before we go to bed tonight.
If you want to, yeah, you'll sleep. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Just know I want your thoughts instantly once you watch it.
Okay.
So we've covered the Christmas horror.
Yes.
Pretty much. I mean, what else is there? I don't know if you guys have seen Dial Code Santa. That's a fun one.
I haven't. I put that down as something I need to watch. The ones you were talking about, they're like kind of classics, but meh.
Yes.
Like they almost feel like when you were talking earlier about like Krampus kind of igniting like the holiday horror, like these movies were always classics, but now it became like in the last 6 years of like people wanting to rewatch them. Black Christmas has like the famous POV shots that Halloween is using 4 years later. Silent Night, Deadly Night has 3 movies after it and a remake. Know why. So I don't know how in any way. Number 2, I don't know if you've seen
Black Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, all the remakes that they do. Yeah,
it's
they did
like,
the 2019 one, right? It's the most recent.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch that one either. I saw.
We're busy during Halloween. We watch horror all year long, but we watch horror all year. We're not going to watch Christmas horror all year long.
They do have a 2019 one.
Yeah, it's like when I want to watch a Christmas horror movie, that's not really the one I'm going for.
It's a coping mechanism for the holidays.
It has It has Carrie Ellis.
Oh, from Dr. Gordon.
And from Saw.
Okay, now I'm gonna watch it because I love him.
Yeah.
As you wish. I want to see him in more stuff. He was just recently in Stranger Things, and that was pretty. Yeah, he was awesome in that. He's such a creep. What else do I have on my list here? So I covered my go-tos, and then like there's some Christmas horror episodes from shows like Creep Show 2020. That was really fucking fun. Their Christmas episode and the okay, what really surprising was American Horror Stories. I don't know, did you guys watch that? Did you catch the Christmas one?
I haven't watched the Christmas one from the Hulu one, right?
Yeah, it was a whole anthology. It was before the double feature, which you could totally skip over. Jack Ryan and I talked about that.
I stopped watching after Adam Levine.
Oh no, there's a whole like Hulu has. Are you talking, Michelle? Are you talking about the like stories American Horror Stories on the chat? Like, there's a whole new like direction they took it.
Oh, it was like anthology. Like it was a different story every week, and there was a Christmas one.
Yeah. I was gonna say I stopped watching after the Adam Levine season.
Yeah, I watched all the seasons, all the show seasons, and then they did this, and I got into it, and I'm like probably halfway, maybe a little bit earlier than halfway through.
Goth, bless your hearts for even. I wish I had your strength to stop watching American Horror Story. I guess I'm a sadist too, but there was some surprises with American Horror Stories because it was the anthology. Like there was a couple of really good episodes, and the Christmas one happened to be one of the better ones.
I'm gonna see that one. I was really happy about that because like I heard when they were starting it, they're like, we're bringing back like Murder House, we're bringing back the latex suit, we're bringing back some other stuff, and I was like, well, this is all this stuff I loved of the original series, so let me.
But you'll get some new stuff too. And that's where I was like, I was pleasantly surprised. So give that, if anything, just give that one episode a watch. But let's get into the other stuff, okay? Because like we're horror people, we never really get to like talk about our guilty pleasures. Okay, so I made a list of my holiday films that are not horror related, but I indulge the fuck out of them. Okay,
let's hear it.
So hold on, let me pull up my list because it has to be, in order.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll give you mine after.
Yeah, no, okay. Let's because I'm really anxious to see if people have watched some of the same stuff that I have and get the same reaction. Okay. One of my obviously Christmas Story is my favorite regular Christmas movie. Okay. We quote the dad all year long. God damn it. I was fucking with my Christmas tree today. I was like, God damn it, blah. Like, Okay.
Christmas Story is,
it's classic. It never gets old. It's epic. Every horror person loves a Christmas Story. Nobody's mad at a Christmas Story. But one of my recent favorites, now that I don't have to watch Mickey's Once and Twice Upon a Christmas on a loop, which I still like. I really do enjoy because it embodies, winter. I really do enjoy those. In fact, one of my kids was like, hey, I just burped. I always burp during these shows.
It's from drinking. It's okay.
Okay, so one of my favorite. As much as I'm like, Halloween's over, I'm really sad. I cannot wait to throw on Almost Christmas. Okay, this is a movie. Okay, first of all, I do not have any Black family left. Okay, so it makes me really sad. But then I happen upon some really good Black family Christmas movies, and Almost Christmas is fucking divine. You got Danny Glover, you got Monique, you got what's his fucking name? With the lisp, and he's so fucking funny. God damn it. I hate when I'm drunk. I have his name on the tip of my tongue. Hold on, let me pull it up. Anyways, this movie is epic. It's fucking hilarious because it is about a dysfunctional family coming together after the loss of their matriarch. And it is just absolutely divine because Monique is me. Almost Christmas is the shit. I remember we took a chance on this movie. I was like, what is this about? And we took a chance on it because we had seen the ending and they're all eating sweet potato pie. And I'm going, what is this movie about? It is so much fucking fun, and it'll give you all the emotions. It is a perfect holiday film. Hold on, I have to tell you his name or else I'm gonna lose my mind.
Looking at the cast, it's absolutely insane. I haven't seen it, and I really want to after seeing Gabriel Union, Carrie Hilson,
DC Young Fly.
DC Young. Okay, so he's not in it. He should be in it a lot more than what he is, but when he's in it, he is.
Yeah,
I hate that they covered up his tattoos. They covered his tattoos in the movie. You have Gabriel Union, JB Smoove.
JB Smoove, the man.
He's awesome.
He's fucking hilarious. Like, give this movie a chance. And then there's the fine ass Nicole Ari Parker.
Carrie Hilson.
Everybody in this movie is epic. So this movie is okay. Just picture. Okay, so this wig that I'm wearing right now is inspired. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm wearing this all fucking winter. It's inspired by Monique's character in that movie. So watch it and then let me know what you think. Okay. Yes. This movie is hilarious. It makes you cry. It makes you think.
Yeah.
All kinds of, it's perfect. It's perfection. So and then again, it's like my kids were like, we really wish we had Black family, Mom. And I'm like, I will do what I can. New beginnings. I will see you. It's up to them. They have to find, I told them start dating Black women or men or whatever.
I'm a This Christmas guy with Chris Brown. I'm a This Christmas guy. I love this.
I love that. Okay, so that was my second one. So This Christmas is epic. That's another one that we watch on a loop. Okay, we usually watch This Christmas first because it came out first. I could recite that shit to you. That movie made me fall in love with Idris Elba.
That was actually the first movie. I mean, that's actually the first song I put on November 1st. I put on Chris Brown's version. I put on Chris Brown's version of This Christmas.
Yes, he killed. I really wish I didn't have to hate him because he was so fucking talented.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm really glad that you have seen This Christmas because
I love this.
That is one of my favorite. That's one of my favorites. So then you need to watch Almost Christmas, but This Christmas is one of our favorites. I remember when that came out. I saw it when it came out. I was trying to mimic everything that the sisters were. I love Regina King. I always have. Laz Alonso's a piece of shit. Why is he a dick in everything he's in? Yeah. Even a Christmas movie.
Christopher Columbus is in that movie.
Oh, I love when him and Chris Brown were together. Remember Stomp the Yard?
Yeah. I love when Chris Brown sang at the club. And he sang "Try a Little Tenderness," and everybody was like, "Oh my God, he can actually sing!" Yeah.
Let me button up my shirt. That part still makes me horny.
It's Michelle Wayne After Dark right now.
Well, ask my husband. He's sitting here producing the show. He knows what it's like. He's like that's how I get that's how I get laid during the holiday season. Turn on. Remember bumping that in the Scion? Chris Brown's version of Try a Little Tenderness. Oh my God. I love This Christmas. That is still a staple. Loretta Devine, absolutely fun movie. And then the end sequence where she's fucking smacking her husband's ass with the baby oil.
Oh yeah.
Oh, classic.
Great movie.
So we do have a regular Christmas movie in common. Okay, so another one that really gets me in the spirit, and this is the one where my husband tries to cure my seasonal depression. I don't get depressed during the winter though. Not I mean I do, but not like I do during the summer or anything, but Christmas with the Cranks. We were talking about Buzz Lightyear and what's his face? Tim Allen. And you've seen Christmas with the Cranks, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, of course you have. So I used to want to be Mrs. Crank. I know it's weird, right?
Any actions towards being Mrs. Crank?
Okay, I did actually pursue my endeavor of trying to mimic Mrs. Crank in my early 30s. I was all about because I wanted to be her because when I was able to go, okay, I don't have to work anymore and I could be a full-time mom. I'm gonna fuck up Christmas like in the best way ever. I'm gonna fucking Mrs. Crank this shit. Yeah, PTA. I joined PTA. That's all I knew how to do to get involved in my community. It was a disaster. Fucking, it was cataclysmic to my psyche and my mental health. It was terrible. Apparently, I cannot be Mrs. Crank. I can try to rally a community. I can make the fuck out of some Christmas cookies, and I will do what Mrs. Crank did for my kids. If they were like, "Hey, you know what? We changed our mind. We're coming home for Christmas." I love that movie. I really wish Tim Allen wasn't a piece of shit. I really do, but he wasn't even acting in that movie.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him. Not a huge fan.
He was such a dick in that movie.
Yeah. I just don't like his style. I don't like his humor. I don't know if
he's not funny.
No, like Last Man Standing, like my dad was obsessed with, and he's like, "You have to watch the show Last Man Standing." Tim Allen helps write it and everything. And I watched it. I'm like, I can't stand this. This is terrible. I couldn't do it.
Who does he think he is? I realized that he was like our founding Buzz Lightyear. I get it. I love Toy Story. I am with Jessna. I love I love Toy Story. I'm not. I am mad that Chris Evans gets to play Buzz Lightyear. I think that's bullshit. It would have been a real fuck you to Tim Allen if they would have put like someone black or Asian in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or even Hispanic. It would have been a real fuck you to put someone.
Why, is he an asshole or something?
He's a piece of shit. He's like one of those terrible Trumpian type of conservatives.
People don't like him on set, apparently.
Yeah, and
Really?
he's like, have you ever heard about the stories about Steve Carell? Is like he's like one of all of our favorite like comedians, but he's the absolute dick
It's like
in
Tom
real life.
apparently too.
Tom Cruise and Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Apparently,
Adam Sandler's a dick.
if you're not one of like
I've heard
Adam
that.
Sandler people, that's what I've heard.
Oh.
Well, I remember seeing him on Ellen, and it was with the cast of Grown Ups too. And Adam, he was just like this the whole time, and he was in a mood. And Salma Hayek was talking about like how moody he is, and that was the first time. It's funny how it always happened on Ellen. Like she called out like Steve Carell's behavior behind the scenes and Adam Sandler, and then she ended up being a piece of shit herself. I don't know what knots means. That like the amusement park. I don't know what that means. Oh, my son ran. Okay, so you want to hear a funny Adam Sandler story?
Oh yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we were at Knott's in 2019, and one of my kids was there who, was living away from the house at the time. He was living with his dad, and we had met up with him at Knott's. He was there with his band, and Adam Sandler happened to be at Knott's that day. And he was talking to everybody, stopping to take pictures, and then my son comes up. It's not the first. My son's kind of like me, but wilder.
Oh.
A little more feral. And a little more crazier, a lot more, and just like kind of like is something wrong with him? Because he also met Kevin Hart and had the same reaction. Yeah. So he goes up to Adam Sandler and he's like, "Hey man, can I have an autograph?" And Adam Sandler's like, "No, I'm done for the day."
Just called it at one point.
And did it to someone, gave someone else an autograph. I didn't chase after Adam Sandler because I'm not an Adam Sandler fan. Like, there's a few movies I'm like, okay, you're cool. I like Hotel Transylvania, The Wedding Singer. I'm an Adam Sandler fan.
Yeah.
I love his old stuff. I like Big Daddy.
Big Daddy's good. Yeah. Yeah.
I know this isn't like a typical horror movie, but it's horror adjacent. I loved him in Little Nicky. I
never got through that movie. I heard it was really funny though.
Yeah,
he's like Satan, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's so it's hard to even describe just because you
just gotta watch it and then you'll understand. It goes into really good actors
for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I will watch Little Nicky when you finish Scrooged. How about that? We'll make a deal. Or not Scrooged, A Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
You both have to finish it, and then I will watch Little Nicky, and I will do a live.
All right,
perfect.
Because I don't like Adam Sandler, but I'll do it for you guys.
Yeah, well, you'll like if you like Big Daddy, I think you'd like Little Nicky.
It's so weird.
It's like, and I think that's why I loved it so much, and part of the reason it's just the weirdness of it all, and when you watch it, just remember that it's 90s CGI.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that, unless there's unless it's like fucking Jack Frost. Okay, so I want to know, before we wrap up, I want to know so my favorite Christmas movies. I'll just name off a few more. We don't have to discuss them, but Office Christmas Party is another good one. And The Night Before.
A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wait. The Night Before.
Oh, I thought you said A Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm sorry.
No. Night Before. Is that right? The Night Before and Office Christmas Party are my recent, the last 8 years, my favorite movies. But Almost Christmas, please watch. If you love This Christmas, you'll love Almost Christmas. I need someone to watch this one so we can talk about it. And then again, reference The Wig, okay?
Got you.
This is all for Monique, and it has nothing to do with horror.
I put that down. That was what I'm like. You putting that at the top of your list means I have to see that.
It is that good. Okay.
That's what I passed on there, and I'm like, well, Michelle Halloween sign off on it, and all the cast, a must.
Oh, it's so good. It was just one of those pleasant surprises. But other than that, it's the typical stuff. Christmas with the Cranks. Yes, it's a ridiculous movie that you would think my ass would never love. I love Christmas with the Cranks, even though Tim Allen's in it, which Jamie Lee Curtis, she
Jamie
makes
Curtis is in it too. Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah.
Yeah,
And she's married to him. And then Dan Aykroyd is fucking hilarious. I love Christmas. That's the movie I like watching when I'm making cookies. Because I make cookies during the holidays. What else do you guys love as far as non-horror Christmas films?
You go first.
Oh, me first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Also, hold on. I would like to point out at the beginning of this, he was like talking about how he comes to me and asks me all this shit. He was being humble. He knows a lot, and I learned a lot from him as well. Like as far as movies go.
Well, thank you, Justin.
Oh, see, you're so knowledgeable. Don't hold back.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, my favorite Christmas movies, and I don't even have like a pecking order. I just have the ones that stick out in my mind. I grew up watching. It was always on at my house. My mom put it on all the time when she was decorating the house and doing all getting us ready for Christmas. Was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Of course,
always on.
Yes,
that one you can't really like. To me, you can't beat that one. I
love that one.
A good buddy of mine can like cite every line. I was like,
same.
I was like, we connected. That is absolutely a classic.
Hell yeah.
Jingle All the Way, the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, I don't know if you've seen that. The one where he's trying to find the just live that first scene out.
That's the Christmas horror story I was going to tell you guys about.
Oh yeah, I got to hear that before we wrap up too.
Of course.
Jingle All the Way. So when I was growing up, I was going to daycare like every day after school and every day in the summer. So they would just like put the same movies on rotation. And my teacher at daycare, or whoever was watching us, I can't really call him a teacher, was like always wanting to put on Jingle All the Way. Don't know why. So I've seen that movie probably over 1,000 times in my lifetime. I don't hate it. I was like, if I've seen 1,000
I don't hate that movie.
Huh?
I don't hate that movie.
Yeah, it's like so subpar. And I'm like, well, I've seen it that many times and I haven't completely hated it. So I don't know. It's so cheesy and I really enjoy that aspect of it.
But it's Arnold. It's like watching Kindergarten Cop at Christmas. It's like the Christmas episode of Kindergarten Cop.
Yes.
Kind of.
and he comes out dressed up like the action figure at the end. I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah. And then I'll do one more. And I'm curious on y'all's opinion if y'all have seen this. I love The Holiday, and I don't know if it's actually purely a Christmas movie. Is that Vince Vaughn? That's Jack Black, Jude Law.
Oh no.
What movie?
It's called The Holiday.
It's the one with Vince Vaughn. Four Christmases.
Yeah, Four Christmas.
Oh, I like that movie. We own that one. Did you know Reese Witherspoon and him hate the fuck out of each other, and they got through that movie?
Why do they hate each other?
Vince Vaughn's a dick.
That is true. I've heard that 100 times. Yeah. Holiday is one. It's very wintry, so it's like all snow. It's definitely like around Christmas. I just don't know. I'd have to watch it back again to remember. And I was debating. Someone told me it was on like a top 25 highest grossing Christmas list, and I was like, I guess
really?
But I didn't think about it being a pure Christmas movie, because I think of movies that actually show like the opening of presents. Like there's a small scene I'm kind of remembering back that was, but it's Jude Law, Cameron Diaz, Jack Black, and oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. But basically Cameron Diaz and her switch houses for the holidays. They both want to get away. One's really rich, the other lives in like a cottage in another country. Kate Winslet.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
Speaking
of Titanic.
Yep, exactly. God, well, I can't believe I remember. But that one's one of my favorites. And then if I had to pick one other one that was just that we always end up watching, it's probably, oh my god, I'm gonna blank on it. Justin, you do yours, and I got to think about this one.
Home Alone?
Home Alone was always on.
That's on my list.
Bigger fan. Home Alone 1, fantastic. Bigger fan of Home Alone 2.
That's really interesting that you say that. I remember watching Home Alone in the theater with my family. Me and my dad, my mom, my dad, my sister. And the best part of the film was my dad fucking losing it, fucking dying. Like, my dad has this ridiculous laugh. And so I remember watching Home Alone in the theater and laughing at my dad because everybody was laughing more at my dad than the film. And then watching the film later and going, holy shit, I'm going to embrace this for the rest of my life because my dad laughs the same way all these years later. Home Alone is just, it's like, you don't even have to put it on the list. Like, duh.
Yeah.
But I love Home Alone too.
Yes. I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't talk about the scene where he grabs onto the water handles in the basement and he gets electrocuted and he literally turns into a skeleton. That is the
horror fans.
The most ridiculous thing. He turns into a full skeleton. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I think I pissed my pants watching that one.
I did too, because I was thinking the balls. Thank you for putting some horror.
Yeah. I was like, this was absolutely incredible.
I love Home Alone. So
yeah.
Same.
Jack. Oh, this is what I was thinking of. It wasn't Jack Frost, the horror one, but Jack Frost with Michael Keaton.
Oh, that movie's
I like that one too.
I like it. They got Dixie Chicks playing at the beginning, and so like
I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, but I love Michael. It has a lot of heart.
Yes, it makes me feel things.
Yeah,
and, I mean, I think that's what Christmas. Not Christmas. The winter holidays are supposed to be about. Mm-hmm. Not. We hear it in all those films. Like, it's not about the presents. I understand, but that feeling when you actually feel it as a human being, you're like, okay, I get it. So, can we make it more about that, please?
Yeah, and there's parts in that movie before I hand it off to Justin where it makes me like, I almost feel like I'm like, he's not gonna like get back, like he's not gonna turn back. No, man, like this is how it is, and this kind of gets kind of dark for a second, and then like the bounce back that makes it so much better.
It does.
So Justin, I'll hand it off to you, bud.
Okay. I wrote it down just so you, I'm gonna do four. I have these. Okay, so I have 4 must watches and then 4 honorable mentions.
I love it.
Okay,
I like your organization.
Just like I have a list of 100 I like, and then 100 honorable.
No,
mentions.
go.
Yeah, so because these are my 4 must watches that I watch every year. Every year I watch this.
I'm curious about these.
Santa Claus 1 and 2, fuck 3. Home Alone 1 and 2, fuck 3.
What about the most recent Home Alone? There's one that just came out.
Oh, the 4th one.
There's one that even came out like
a few months.
I'm not watching that.
I'm not watching it.
I'm not watching that.
This Christmas.
Yes.
And Elf. Elf is probably my favorite.
I love Elf.
Yes.
How do you feel about Grinch?
Oh, that's in my honorable mention.
Jim Carrey? Yeah, I mean
that's in my honorable mention. I have, and this my first honorable mention is actually fairly recent. I just saw this last year and I loved it. Christmas Chronicles with
that movie's fire, dude.
Yeah, the second one.
How have we not talked? I'm not watching the second one. My kid watched that and she was like, no. The first one, that shit was lit, dude. I've always had a crush on Kurt Russell since Overboard. That movie fucking lit my fucking season up, dude.
I like him in Sky High.
Indian Guardians 2 also.
Oh, he was so sexy. He's just a sexy human being.
Yes.
I love Indian Guardians too.
That's in my that's in my thing. Christmas Chronicles. Miracle on 34th Street is in my honorable mentions.
That's a good one. Yeah.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And my last one is Polar Express with Tom Hanks.
I love both of your lists. Okay, so I feel terrible for not even mentioning those. Okay. I am with you. I loved Christmas Chronicles. I watched those one of those last movies I watched with my youngest before they went and decided they're a teenager, preteen, not even a teenager yet, but just like hates me just because I breathe. But I remember sitting there watching that with them and just that feeling. And Kurt Russell was epic. Like when he was in the driving and he's like laughing, like that movie was so. I said Christmas Story. Polar Express. I remember taking my oldest 2, who are now 22 and 19, to see that in the theater when they were little. Yeah. And my ass, it was just the 3 of us. I was crying. And I went home and made them hot chocolate.
When I was younger, I used to read that a lot. Even when it wasn't Christmas. The kids' book?
Yeah. I own it. A few copies of it. Actually, I don't know why I have more than one copy, but it's a beautiful art story.
I'll buy one from you.
Just go home.
Okay.
Yeah, because like, oh yeah, that's true. I could just go to fucking Books A Million next door. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna start reading to my kids.
You got to.
You do. That is a definite. I also want to capture your tears when you do it. That I don't know why that movie just brings. Remember earlier we were talking about like the wonder of Santa and like why we lie to our kids about Santa and all this other shit. It's the wonder that we're trying to capture that we fuck up, and that movie embodies all of that. So I'm not mad at you for loving Polar Express. That movie's beautiful. It is a beautiful
film. I love the movie too, but I think I love the book more. Like I just grew like when I was in elementary school and we'd go, to the library, I would check it out like every other week.
And not
just reading it.
Okay, you're making me feel really old. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking, or say no.
I'm 29.
God.
I'm 27.
When Polar Express and that beautiful art book that I'm gonna go dig out right after this, because I know where that box of books is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was about 20. I think it was in my mid 20s when that movie came out. 23, 24 maybe. Yeah. And again, I already had 2 kids, and it's a beautiful film for kids. I don't know why. I really don't know why.
It is. Yeah.
2000 when? 2004. So I was 24.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There's something about that film. My 2 oldest boys still talk about that movie today, like watching it. Like
hits you right in the heart, right?
It really does. And I don't know why. I really can't. It's a perfect film. So I'm not mad at you. And it's all at night.
To it, so it's like it definitely like they did it right. That's how you know they did it right. You know what I mean? So
it has a little spooked factor to it. There's adventure.
Tom Hanks was the perfect character to play the conductor too. So
yes, so such a you have beautiful lists. Okay, so before we go, I love these lists. I'm trying not to get it. This is what, again, the holiday season for me as a Halloweener. I think if you know me, you know that I'm not, this terrible mean person who's, totally satanic and witchy and all this other stuff. And I don't take any shit, but I also have a heart. And I feel like winter gives us that opportunity to be a little bit more vulnerable for like the Holly King and the darker, the longer nights and the shorter days and, making our own light.
Yeah.
I love winter. So, I cannot, I don't like what America calls Christmas, but I love winter and I love the festivities and the feeling and all these things, like these movies that give us all these feelings that we probably wouldn't have had otherwise. But so what happened was Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It was the first National Lampoons I had ever watched. And when that came out, what was it? 1988, 1989. I was about 8 or 9 years old. And my parents, kind of censored me, but they didn't censor like movies like that. So we'd watch Christmas Vacation. Again, my dad was laughing, but I'd watch it on my own, because back in the 80s and early,
you've never seen like vulgar stuff.
Yes. So it's kind of like that forbidden thing again, where I was like, "Ooh, I feel like a grown up." And then as you grow up watching it, you go through these phases and you realize shit about the film that you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't, get that joke when I was a kid."
Yeah.
So one of the things when we decided to move to the Pacific Northwest, aside from California, we had a fig tree in California I've been with my husband 16 years. We just celebrated our 16 years a couple weeks ago. Right. But one of the things that him and I had in common, we didn't have much in common. Country music was a big problem between the two of us in our early years. But one of the things that he had particularly wanted was when we moved to the PNW, we have to cut down our own tree in a forest. Okay, well, like no shit, Justin and Romo, we live where there's forests everywhere. Like I go to the grocery store, there's forest I drive through,
Yeah.
So you just cut your tree down?
Well, I figured, okay, we'll get to it, but I was leaving that up to him because he wanted to fulfill this dream because he's Mr. Halloween and all that shit, but he's more or less the backup. He's the producer, the behind the scenes, he just basically my security guard to make sure when I'm trashed at a club that I don't get roofied and raped. Okay. He's the guy when I'm at a convention that I don't like the one time where I was knocking on the convention door at the Pasadena Convention Center because Corey Feldman had one of the masks I had just bought, from Little Shop of Gore. I had left it there because I was drunk. So like he's the guy who kind of just like puts shit together. He'll endure my horror watching. He loves Krampus because he's half German. Blah blah blah. So he was like, one of my dreams is I want to go cut down a Christmas tree in a forest while we're living in Washington. We got to cut down our own tree. And he was against real trees our whole 16 years. He wanted a fake one in California. Because when you go to California and you can't buy a Christmas tree until the week of Christmas or your shit's going to die.
Yep.
So
I have a fake tree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it. I'm with it. Because you could leave that up all year and Halloween it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So he wanted to cut down a tree. So I said, okay, we'll research it. Because, I have a lot of shit to do. I'm busy writing. I'm doing shows, blah, blah, blah. So he researches, okay, we can cut down our own trees. And he watched a YouTube video of this lady who was cutting down a tree in the what forest was it called?
She was in the
Olympic Pinot Forest, okay, in Washington State. And I'm like, cool, whatever you want to do, bro. So after our Krampus bar night on Friday night, we went to the Ravens Manor. We had lovely cocktails, black calamari, truffle fries, and a bunch of like holiday time cocktails.
Food coloring?
Do it all.
Yeah, it was just food coloring.
Oh, okay.
And I'll put it back up on my Instagram, the black calamari. Yeah. Beautiful menu. He was like, okay, we're gonna go into the forest. We're gonna reenact Christmas Vacation, the very first scene where they're driving with the pissed off teenagers. Because I could recite that movie verbatim too. I've been watching it since I was 8 or 9. And we're gonna sing songs. We're gonna piss off our daughter and our son, and we're gonna just and go fucking cut down our Christmas tree. But I was like, please just bring a saw.
That's all we need.
And there's no snow, but it was rainy. Okay, so Saturday morning we slept in. We made sure we weren't tired. We got up. And he puts us on this GPS and we get coffee. He goes to Home Depot. I noticed that he bought a saw, but he didn't buy a Christmas tree, the holder. I'm not saying nothing because this is a Clark Griswold reenactment. So there's got to be a fuck up somewhere, right? So we drive and the GPS says an hour and 25 minutes. Then it goes to like 57 minutes. And I'm getting old, so I have really, really bad moon cycles. And I was ignoring my pain, my uterine pain and blood. So my husband could have his moment of reenacting the scene. It was rainy. So we stopped at this little store so I can get some Motrin, but I sent him in because he's white. I wasn't going in this little store because yeah. So he got me Motrin, but it's funny because he's wearing all the satanic stuff, like 666 on his mask. And he was like, yeah, I'm glad you didn't go in that store to get the Motrin. And then when we get in the car, the GPS turns, instead of saying 45 minutes, we're now 57 minutes from our forest destination. We're now 2 hours and 23 minutes. And then there was a tree in the road. Right above where we were. So he gets out of the car, moves this tree with this other gentleman. They move this tree out of the road. And I'm going, so we're done, right? We're just going to go. I was like, I found a black Santa in Portland that's selling trees. He's black owned businesses. That's all we're doing. I didn't say anything because I thought he was reading my mind, right? He wasn't reading my mind. He's like, we're just going to go and we're going to go to the outskirts of this forest and we're going to cut down our Christmas tree. And my kids are like, fuck this. They didn't say they're not driving those. So they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing about me is I hate mountain drives. I get very anxious. I feel like I'm going to fall off a cliff. He's a dick when he drives. He goes too fast around mountain curves.
Oh God.
People are going to throw up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm starting to get anxious because now we're going up this mountain and it's fog. We're in the PNW and we have no idea what this mountain road is like. And the higher we go, the foggier it gets and the denser the forest gets. And there's like waterfalls, beautiful scenery. And I'm blogging about this experience. And I'm getting more and more nervous because I'm like, we're going to get caught in a landslide. It's raining. Fuck this tree. We keep going. And now there's only one lane. We have to pull over to let Jeeps who look like they've been off-roading for hours pass with Christmas trees in their trunks. So that was his fuel to keep going on this road. And I'm like, I can't do it. So then again, mind you, there's no service. So I don't even know how the GPS is working. He's just following the blue line, meandering through this fucking high ass Mount Everest fucking mountain road.
Yeah.
And the potholes were getting bigger and bigger. And we were in a truck, but to me, my husband's truck is a pansy truck. It's for business, corporate people. It's not an off-roading truck, okay? It's a pussy truck, you know? So all these things are going through my head. And I'm like,
what truck is it?
It's a Ford F-150. It's a super cab. What is your truck? XLT. Okay. He just bought new tires. You know, he loves his truck. Okay, but I don't think it's a truck meant
That's
for
a big ass truck. That's a pussy truck, though.
It has an extended cab. It's a family. It's a minivan. Okay, it's really a minivan.
Yeah, you can fit 6 people in there.
Oh, here he goes.
You're muted. You're muted.
She's expecting it to be.
I can't hear you. You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted. Okay.
So she's expecting 4-wheel drive F350, like on 40s, with a 24-inch lift and like some stupid shit.
That's what was meant to be on this mountain road.
No. Too big.
An F-150 Super Cab. That's pretty big. Hey, it's all right.
I wasn't in this truck. I was in the truck. Okay. In the front seat. And I even asked my son, who's bigger than both of us, like, can you sit in the front? And he's like, no, I'm cool. So we're going through it. So then he's like, okay, there's a fork in the road. I'm going to go this way, the most treacherous way. I think he got like a half mile in. I was like, I can't do this. You better turn I'm done. I'm done. Like, we're like that. And I have big boobs, you know, so we're like,
getting hit in the face at all.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm like, I'm bleeding and I'm uncomfortable. And I'm like seriously fearing for my life. Cause like, seriously, one of my worst fears is like dying miserably. And I was sitting here going, okay, what do we have for food in the car in case we have to ration while I've watched too many horror films where people go off the cliff in the snow, even though there was no snow, it was rainy, but there's probably snow up there today. So I was like, we're gonna ration the marshmallows, because my whole idea was like, I thought it was gonna be a flat road like Clark was going on, you know, in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I was like, okay, bring the stove, our camping stove, and I'll make hot chocolate and tea for our, you know, after we cut down the tree and go back. Mm-hmm. Fuck the stove. I don't want tea. We have no service. How are we gonna call AAA if we get stuck? I'm done. So then he's like, okay, so here's me. I put my beanie over my eyes, put my AirPods in, because I'm full-blown panic attack now, because I don't want to die. I usually reserve this drama for my son who's afraid of bugs. Okay. So my husband turns around. He goes up this other road where there's like other people coming down the road with Christmas trees in the back of their cars. So I'm like, he's like, okay, I'll just turn around. I'm like, no, just get your fucking tree. But then he starts asking me, Michelle, you know, what tree do you want? I want you to be happy. Fuck your tree. You pick the tree. I'm staying in the car. I don't want to do this. This is your thing. This is your Clark Griswold thing. Okay.
Yeah, we're already this far anyway. You might as well.
I'm going to do the
your fucking tree. So then what does he do? He keeps asking me, how does this tree look? I don't know, Chuck. I don't know. Pick the fucking tree. So finally we had seen these people who were like waving to us like, hey, welcome to tree farmland. You know, this is where you go pick out your tree. So I told him, hey, go park behind these people and go find a tree. I'll post pictures of our death. I call it the death forest tree shrub.
Oh, man.
It's, you know what? It's not a Christmas lot tree. I actually really like it. My only beef is it doesn't smell like a pine tree. Because he was like ready.
It's not a fucking pine tree.
You're muted still.
It's not a fucking pine tree.
It's like an off the side of the road.
Pick it out at one point. I was like, choose a fucking tree.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were arguing in that meadow.
He's like a character though.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys pictures because okay, so me and my young one stayed in the car because I'm done and I have no service. So I can't even Instagram my experience right now, right? So I just kind of wanted to let my followers know that if I died, this is where to come look for me.
Yep.
Because we have nobody up here. You know, we're alone. You know, it's just us. So, you know, my husband and my son come up with a tree and I'm like, oh, it looks really good. You know, it's huge. It is big. It's a big tree. So they put in the back of the truck, the F-150. We start driving down. I'm trying to take pictures of waterfalls, you know, off the side of the freeway. But suddenly then there was like cars that weren't there before. So I felt like a piece of shit going down because I'm anxious. And I'm like, he's like, oh, do you want to do hot chocolate or tea? I'm like, fuck the hot chocolate. We can wait till we're safe. So we get home and then I see a tree. And I'm like, behold our death forest tree shrub. This shit's about as bald as my natural hair.
Oh, it like as you were driving, I get the leaves just came off. Or
no, you know, and I was expecting that because I was thinking like Christmas with the Cranks, where you know, he goes and gets the tree.
Yeah,
it just all comes off.
He comes home and it's just a stick. And he's just that's like no shit. And I'm sitting here going, Michelle, don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. You're having menstrual, premenopausal shit, you know, going on. Don't be mad at your husband. This is exactly a fucking Christmas vacation debacle. Like, you have the panicked wife. Instead of being like put under a truck, we're on this like desert, this horrible mountain road that we don't know. So it's so funny because then he's like, I'll just go get a tree from the tree lot. And I'm like, fuck no. In Washington, you can cut down your own trees if you go die for it and pay $5. Like the permit to cut down trees up here is like $5. You can't beat that. Yeah, you can't beat that because if we would have bought like a Christmas tree off a lot, it would have been like $50. And I'm like,
50?
Fuck this.
What the hell are you talking about? $175 at the Home Depot. Like, come on.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't go to Home Depot. So, you know, at least we had a saw. But then it was funny because, you know, I go home and he knows that I'm on my period. And he comes up, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. You tried killing me again. You know I hate mountain roads. How come you weren't prepared? You know, I'm just laying it all on him. And he's like, so he goes to get the I go, did you even get a Christmas tree stand? Because I knew he didn't, you know?
Yeah.
Even though he was so prepared. I'm like, put the death shrub in the fucking house with the tree stand. I gotta go get the thing because I forgot to get it, the tree stand. So then he goes to Home Depot. He storms out of the house. I'm texting my friend. I'm smoking a bowl in my basement, you know, because I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm mad. I'm still mad. I don't even know why. He meant well, you know. And he comes back really quick. He's like, I gotta go get it tomorrow. I forgot my mask.
Oh,
why? So he closed already? He couldn't just get his mask and then come back?
I think he was frustrated because like the whole trip was weird and I probably made it worse than what it was. And then he was like mad at me. See, my husband is a pleaser. He tries to please me even when he's mad at me. You know what I mean? So he wanted to come home and you know what he did? He made me fucking from scratch cranberry old fashions and let me get high all night and just was like, don't worry. He made like pork chops and fried rice. Like he killed it, dude. After driving 3 hours. I'm sorry, 6 in total.
Yeah.
But
hey, we're in Washington. I'm expecting pork chops and fried rice.
With a forest death tree shrub.
Well, maybe the cranberry old fashions and like the pork chops and fried rice.
Hey,
you got it. It was
right on.
Huh?
What?
Right on. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
You got to come to Washington. But I'll post pictures of our, you know, our tree shrub is super cute. It's like a giant Charlie Brown tree. It's so cute. It's really big. I'm not mad at it.
We got you too. You know what I'm saying?
See? See, so we had our own little like Christmas vacation reenactment that was actually frightening because I was worried about landslides. I was worried about a blizzard.
Were you already high going to like?
Bitch, I should have been high. That's what I told him. I go, I go, you don't put me on no mountain road unless I'm stoned. Okay. I was non-medicated at all. I had to get fucking Motrin from a Sasquatch store.
Yeah.
That was racist.
Thinking like maybe if you were high, maybe that's what made you super paranoid. But
no, if I was high, this would have been a way better.
She was sober. She was sober.
That was
there's no question.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
That was the problem. That was his first mistake. So next time, I mean, we've been together 16 years. You know better. If you're gonna take me on one of your bastard ass road trips, get me high. This fool. Do you know this fool will drive? Okay, so like we moved from Southern California to Washington, Vancouver, Washington, which is a 16-hour drive between where we used to live and where we live now.
Jeez.
Most human beings would stop halfway, right, and spend the night. Not us. We did that shit 5 times in the spring.
Wait, what?
You would, yeah, and that's why I've been very absent. I'm still recovering from 5 times we drove back and forth nonstop.
Without stopping, 16
We
hours.
didn't stop. 10,000 miles he put on that beloved truck of his
Oh.
in 1 month.
It did it in a chance. It didn't even face the truck. It was ready to go.
And that's not a pussy truck.
No.
Exactly. I don't need a bigger truck. You just need to have confidence that I know how to get around those mountain roads.
I just need to sleep or be in the back seat and high.
Bigger trucks mean smaller dick.
Is that so?
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Justin,
we've been married for, you can't be with me if you have a small dick. That's my husband. My husband's got it.
Congrats, sir.
I'm saying that like if he had a bigger truck, that he would have a smaller dick.
Now you're just trying to.
I'm just saying that he.
You should see what he used to drive.
That I don't have.
Yeah.
Like, and what she's getting at by that statement, I used to drive a little itty bitty Chevy Spark. Like,
see, that's how you know.
Legit, I could put that car in the bed of my pussy truck.
That's what I mean. You know, I used to drive, smaller cars mean bigger dicks. You don't have to show off all the time.
Yeah, and that we did. So I will send you a picture of the death tree shrub.
Yes, I got
that I decorated today.
Gotta see it.
Well, I slightly decorate because I'm gonna, it's more of a winter Yule. The basement where we are now, my studio is all Halloween theme. The main floor of our new home is more culty, so we kind of honor the seasons. Still a little empty because we're not our house in Southern California was super small, so we're still trying to furnish, the main floor, and then the top floor is where all the rooms are, the laundry room, and that has to be decorated too. But that's the last priority. But it's just really interesting how I was expecting like this whole Krampus weekend. And because I did the work. I was like, we're going to the Ravens Manor. We're going to do these drinks and we're going to have fun with Krampus that night. And he could drink my blood and all this other shit. And then we go on this like Christmas tree death trip. Because I still maintain that it was dangerous. And then Sunday, what did we do Sunday? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
I decorated the death shrub today. A little bit. I have a lot more to go. While he worked.
There you go. There you
Fucking
go.
holidays, dude. They bring out the best in people.
It's amazing. God, I love
All
that.
right. I know it's like late in the East Coast. I love you guys. I know you work, you have jobs. I cannot thank you fucking enough for coming on my show.
Thank you for inviting us. We've been
and I will do this
to it.
anytime. So anytime you want to do a yip yap, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Because you gave me that platform and that space. Make sure that whoever's listening or watching that you follow Pillar of Thriller, because I know usually what happens is I air these episodes and then they blow up later on in the week because they're also available on Spotify and Anchor and iTunes podcasts. So woo, for all your commute purposes, we got you.
Awesome.
Justin and Romo, I love you guys. I really wish we could spend more time together. So let's make that a 2022 resolution.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk to you for hours.
We did.
Yeah, even
and
longer.
We did.
Longer than this.
I know. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, since we've upgraded, like when we had you last time, we've upgraded a lot of like webcam, audio, camera, all the stuff we have now. We're not as technical as your husband is, but we want to have you back on so that we can, now that we've worked out some things, and do it proper. Not that the first time wasn't proper, but give you even a better platform.
Yeah, I mean, listen, season 3 is season of guests. We already started, so we'll have you for season 3.
I'm about it, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the space, you guys, because you know what? I don't have 4,500 followers anymore.
I know that sucks.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It really doesn't, because the people that are actually engaged are the people that are already there. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't. But I just hope that I'm not diminishing your platform.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Not at all. Not at all. be a step up. We love it. Seriously, thank you so much, Michelle. It's awesome.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Love
Yeah,
to talk to you. Thank you so much.
One of the things, real quick, because one of the things that that was brought up before in a couple like DMs in our Pillar Thriller Instagram is like, if there's ever like a convention, like that would be dope. Like, I don't know if there's a way, but if we could get like the horror community all involved and like we could all meet up at like some type of horror convention, that would be fucking like you know, like a common ground where we can all go. Like,
Texas Frightmare.
Yeah, Texas would be dope. Like, I've never been to Texas, and like that would be, you know,
My family's from there, so.
Somewhere like where we can all just, if we can start like some type of big, just like where we can all meet, because you know we always talk to each other on social media.
We
never,
do,
and like, but we never actually see each other, which is, but like I would love to see everybody and meet everybody in person. You know what I'm saying?
Same. I agree, because we have you in Georgia, we have Haunt Junkies in Georgia, me in Washington. Fucking, he's a crafty one in Michigan.
Yeah.
We have, who else is part of our little weird clique?
Where does
D? She's in New York. Our boyfriend's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Heather's in Texas.
Heather's in Texas. Yeah.
So it's like the weird common ground is Texas Fright. You won't catch me at Texas for shit, but Texas Frightmare I heard is this fucking it. So I've been trying to get to Texas Frightmare for years. I am down if you guys are down. Or New Orleans during Mardi Gras. I haven't been to Texas Frightmare, but I've heard every celebrity that knows anything, like even, you know who even shows up to Texas Frightmare? Fucking dude from I don't know, are you guys, do you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
Oh yeah, I watched it back in college.
Okay, so making me feel old again.
I'm sorry.
I was pretty sure I was still on the beanbag watching Sons of Anarchy. Fucking Ryan, what's his name? With the long fucking Obi. He was in Texas. Yeah. He was in fucking Texas Frightmare. All the who's who of horror, or even just cult, is at Texas Frightmare.
Did that just say April 29th?
I think
this
in the spring.
Yeah, we'll have to go to that.
It's in the spring.
So yeah, here's the issue here. Yeah, that would be cool.
Is that when the babies do?
As long as you don't have the baby in April.
I will have my babies due April 6th. So
that's a perfect birthday. My last kid is April 4th. It's a beautiful time.
Yeah, there you go, Justin. We'll figure.
Justin, have the baby and bring the baby to Texas Frightmare.
Yes.
I'll bring the wife too. She'll be off for 2 months. So maybe
I would love to meet everyone.
Yeah, just get the in-laws to watch the baby just for like 2 days.
Yeah, no, bring the baby.
That too.
Poor people love babies.
He's got to eat some breast milk. He's got to eat some breast milk. So it
is a he. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I used to pull out these gigantor titties to feed my infants at Disneyland.
Nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
There wasn't. So nobody can tell me, I can't come to nothing because my baby's too young and I'm breast. No. I used to whip up my titty on the Pirates of the Caribbean to feed my kids.
That's amazing.
I bet other kids like that too. Watching it.
I'm sure they did, because they were like, can I have some more?
When I was younger, I used to I don't know. I was a little perv, you know? So
were we all?
Yeah.
That's another podcast.
Just like around, he's like, who is breastfeeding out here?
Yeah.
On Pirates of the Caribbean. I am so down to do this. I mean, and of course, if you ever are on the West Coast, you know where I live. So
I've been wanting to go to California. My girlfriend and I were talking about going. She wants to go to California.
But
but at West Coast,
I don't care. I still will go. Like, I'm still trying to get to Midsummer Scream. I still have all my LA ties. I'm not going anywhere. I'm only 1,000 miles away.
We'll go over there.
And we don't stop. We just drive. We just drive the 16 hours to LA.
Yep. That's how it goes. But we definitely do something like that. So
okay, sorry. Okay. All right. I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you too. Thank you for having us on.
Any fucking time. Happy horror days, everyone.
Happy horror days.